Welcome to the Speed and Wayans Deep Dive podcast. Today, we're buckling up for quite a ride, diving into the world of F1 the movie, the 2025 one, starring Brad Pitt.
Yeah, and this isn't just, another movie. It's this big mix of Hollywood and Formula One, and it's been making a lot of noise.
Absolutely. And you, our listeners, have given us a great set of sources, fan reactions, critic reviews, even some amazing behind-the-scenes stuff from the F1 world itself.
hmm So our job today is to really unpack it. What makes it a big deal cinematically? Does it actually feel like F1? And what's the impact, on Hollywood and the sport?
Exactly. We're going deep on how the director, Joseph Kosinski, fresh off Top Gun, Maverick, remember, aimed for this, wild level of realism.
He really did, putting Brad Pitt and Damson Idris in modified F1 cars,
Yeah.
actually driving them.
Which is pretty bold.
It really is. So how did that work out? What were the challenges? And, what does it take to make you feel like you're in that cockpit? What happens when racing reality meets Hollywood?
Okay, so that vision for realism, how did Kaczynski and the team actually achieve it? It sounds ambitious.
Well, Kosinski was pretty clear. He wanted, and I quote, the most realistic racing movie we've seen today. Definitely building on what he did with Maverick.
The intensity.
Exactly. And they committed. Filming during actual F1 events using modified F2 cars, the Mechachrome's 23 version, specifically.
Modified F2. Interesting.
Yeah, and crucially, no power steering, which means Pitt and Idris were genuinely wrestling with these machines, feeling that raw physicality.
Wow, so they really pushed the boundaries there. And Brad Pitt himself, he's got a history with racing, doesn't he? A passion for it.
He does, yeah. Goes way back. Grew up with the Jackie Stewart,
Yeah.
was big into MotoGP in the 90s. Apparently, he's been trying to get a racing movie off the ground for like 20 years.
20 years. So this was a long time coming for him.
Definitely. And you hear it in how he talks about the experience. Feeling downforce for the first time, he called it shocking. And the brakes, harrowing. Yeah, going from 180 miles per hour down to maybe 40 or 50 in just 75 yards. He even said he might get a little misty after his last ride.
Yeah.
It really shows the sheer intensity they captured.
You really sensed that commitment. And they weren't just on green screens, right? They filmed at real tracks.
Oh, yeah. Iconic places. Paul Ricard, Silverstone, Hungary, Spa, Kotad down in Austin, Abu Dhabi.
All the big ones.
Pretty much. And they even apparently shut down the Las Vegas Strip for 15 minutes to film. Just owned it.
That's incredible access. And this commitment, it carried over to the tech side, too, the cameras.
Absolutely. A lot of the gear was actually developed for Top Gun.
Yeah.
Maverick then shrunk down to fit inside or onto the F-Gun car. Yeah. We're talking to 4K cameras, helmet cams, kind of like Steve McQueen used in Le Mans way back when, and these fully rotating cameras getting wild angles of the wheels, the steering.
She really putting you right in there. Yeah.
That was the goal. The cinematographer, Claudio Miranda, used wide-angle lenses, lots of POV shots. The idea was to make you feel both claustrophobic and totally energized, like you're really in the seat.
And the sound. I heard it's getting serious buzz, maybe even Oscar buzz.
Big time. People are calling it a front runner for best sound. Hans Zimmer did the score, this thumping techno vibe. Rhythmic, cool.
Sounds intense.
Yeah, the whole sound design is described as jaw-dropping. It's meant to make you feel like you were behind the wheel, shaking in your seat. It's visceral.
And the F1 world itself was on board, properly involved.
Hugely involved. Lewis Hamilton, 7-time champ, was a key producer.
Right, I heard about that. Ensuring authenticity.
Down to the smallest details, like the specific sound reverb on a straightaway, or how turn 12 sounds different from turn 16. Kosinski actually got Hamilton involved before he even approached Brad Pitt.
Wow, that's a massive vote of confidence from within the sport.
It really is. And it wasn't just Hamilton. The teams, the drivers, F1 as an organization, they apparently opened all doors, let the crew embed through the season.
Embedded, so they were really part of the paddock.
Seems like it. They even got all the film cars onto the actual grid during a real red flag situation to grab shots. That level of cooperation hasn't really happened since the 60s with movies like Grand Prix.
That's fascinating. It suggests F1 sees this as more than just a movie, maybe, like a strategic partnership.
I think that's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
It's not just about realism for the film. It looks like a strategic move by F1 to use Hollywood's reach, amplify the brand globally.
Yeah.
The movie becomes almost an extension of their marketing.
Interesting angle. Okay, so beyond the incredible spectacle and realism, let's talk about the story. What's it actually about? Pitt plays Sonny Hayes.
Yeah, Sonny Hayes. He's painted as this F1 phenom from the 90s, the greatest that never was, whose career got derailed by a bad crash.
Okay, classic setup.
Right, 30 years later, his old teammate, played by Javier Bardem.
Bardem's in it too. Nice.
Yep. He recruits Sonny to join this struggling team, APX, basically to mentor their hotshot rookie, Joshua Pierce, who's played by Damson Idris.
So the old veteran and the young gun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exploring that dynamic. The mentor and mentee, but eventually the teammate becomes the fiercest competition. It's a redemption story at its core.
And I read one critic pointed out the message wasn't necessarily win at all costs, but more like try at all costs. That feels different for a sports movie. Add some heart.
It does, yeah. It's a neat little twist on the usual formula. Instead of just focusing on the trophy, it shifts towards, perseverance, the human spirit bit. Makes it potentially more resonant, maybe, beyond just hardcore racing fans.
Speaking of resonance, what about this whole dad movie label it got? Critics called it turbocharged dad movie par excellence. What's that about?
Yeah, that label stuck. I think it taps into a couple of things. One, it's maybe seen as a solid, action-packed story that isn't superheroes, which perhaps appeals to a slightly older male demographic.
A gap in the market, maybe?
Could be. And that premise, the old relic makes way for the future, combined with the racing action, it's a familiar, satisfying structure that just, it clicked for that audience. It's hitting a sweet spot.
Okay, but it wasn't all smooth sailing, critically speaking, right? Some issues with pacing, the runtime.
Yeah, there were definitely critiques. It clocks in at 155 minutes, which is long.
Over 2.5 hours.
Right. And some reviewers felt it didn't always fly by. While the racing sequences were praised as well executed, the feeling was sometimes that the character drama isn't as strong as the script thinks it is, maybe relied a bit too much on familiar tropes.
Tropes, yeah. And I saw one comment about it feeling like more montage action than driving action. What does that suggest?
It suggests that maybe the connective tissue between the big, immersive racing scenes wasn't always as compelling. You get these amazing, visceral moments, but maybe the flow, the narrative drive between them, stumbled a bit for some people, leading to those pacing complaints. It's tough balancing spectacle and story sometimes.
True. But even with those critiques, the performances seem to have landed well. Especially Pitt.
Oh, yeah. Pitt got a lot of praise, bringing that effortlessly charismatic kind of late-period swagger to Sonny Hayes. Words like gravitas and grit were used. Some said he even managed to upstage the cars.
Upstage F1 cars, that's saying something.
It is. Comparisons to, classic movie stars Clark Gable, Steve McQueen, even Rocky Balboa.
High praise. And the supporting cast, Damson Idris.
Idris was called excellent as Joshua Pierce, really elevating the material with his performance. Kerry Condon, she apparently added much-needed warmth, even if the role itself wasn't super developed. And Shea Wiggum, always good, delivered even in brief screen time.
So a strong ensemble, really. Helped carry it.
Definitely seems like it. Helped paper over maybe some of the script's more familiar beats.
Okay, let's shift gears to the box office. It did well, right? Big opening.
Massive opening weekend, yeah. Number one in the U.S., $55 million, and number one in Canada, too. Globally, it hit $88 million for a total of $144 million that first weekend.
Against a budget of?
Around $300 million. So a strong start, but still a ways to go to recoup that investment. It's a pricey film.
$300 million is huge. But that IMAX factor you mentioned earlier seemed important.
Absolutely crucial. IMAX screens accounted for 25% of the U.S. take and nearly 20% globally. That made it the fourth best performing IMAX movie ever.
Yeah. Best. Wow.
Yeah, it really shows people wanted that big screen, immersive experience the film was designed for. That spectacle factor really paid off in attracting audiences to premium formats.
And this is a big deal for Apple original films, too, isn't it? Part of their bigger strategy.
Oh, definitely. This is seen as a really crucial moment for them. They're investing heavily, $1 billion a year in movies, including theatrical releases like this one, all to drive subscribers to Apple TV Plus checks.
So the success or failure of F1 really matters for Apple's whole movie plan.
Exactly. It's a major test case for their theatrical ambitions. Can they make these big-budget, star-driven films work both in cinemas and for their streaming service?
Right. And beyond the movie business, what about the impact on Formula One itself? Is it bringing new fans?
That seems to be the expectation, and maybe the reality. The hope is it converts millions of people who weren't F1 fans before, boosts TV ratings, ticket sales, especially in the U.S. market where F1's been growing.
Makes sense, like Drive to Survive, but on a blockbuster scale.
Sort of, yeah. And its performance in places like China, for instance, could apparently even influence real-world team decisions down the line. maybe driver choices, things like that. Shows the film's potential tangible impact.
And the timing of the release couldn't have been better, could it? Coinciding with that wild Austrian Grand Prix.
Talk about synergy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 2025 Austrian GP had all sorts of real-life drama happening right as the movie landed.
What happened there again?
Oh, man. You had an F2 car hitting overhead sign, Carlos Sainz's brakes, literally catching fire, a crash between Kimi and Max Verstappen.
With Max consoling Kimi afterwards, right?
Yeah, that moment. And then Lando Norris pulling off this thrilling win that really tightened up the championship fight. It was like real life was mirroring the movie's excitement. Perfect timing.
It almost sounds scripted itself. And the film crew being present at races, did that yield any interesting little insights from the paddock?
It seems so. Observers noted things like the strategic way drivers like Lando or Lewis position their cars on the grid, tiny details. Even speculation about why there were empty seats in the Max Verstappen stand at one point, tying it potentially to his performance.
Little details that add to that authenticity the film was chasing.
Exactly. It sort of blurred the lines between the movie production and the actual sport happening around it.
Okay, so wrapping things up. Whether you're a longtime F1 fan or totally new to it, it sounds like F1 the movie delivers a pretty undeniable cinematic spectacle.
For sure, it uses that cutting-edge tech and that amazing access to the sport to really put you there. The narrative might hit some familiar notes, lean on tropes maybe.
But the action is immersive.
Totally. And the performances, especially from Pitt and Idris, seem to really ground it. It puts you in the driver's seat.
And looking at the bigger picture from this deep dive, it's clear the film did more than just perform at the box office. It actively worked to boost F1's global appeal, right? Bridging that gap between the niche sport and mainstream entertainment.
Yeah, it's a fascinating case study in synergy between Hollywood and a major global sport.
Yeah.
Both seem to have benefited significantly.
So here's something to think about. In an age where we're all about digital immersion, VR, reality content, does a film like F1 the movie set a new benchmark for how we bring these highly specialized, high-octane worlds to a broad audience on the big screen?
Interesting question.
And if it does, what kind of responsibility does that place on filmmakers? How do you balance that authentic, almost simulation-level portrayal with telling a compelling story, making sure that deep dive is truly rewarding for everyone, the experts and the newcomers?